So hello and welcome to the Expat Pod. Welcome to the shorter, quick-fire questions version of the podcast. If you haven't already listened to the main episode with Tracy and I, then please do listen to it after this, of course, where we go a bit deeper into Tracy's life living in Malta from Canada. So Tracy, my first question to you is, what's the favourite place you ever lived?
Malta.
And whereabouts in Malta? Is it Gozo or is it somewhere else?
So we're living in Gozo. Now that we're officially living here, we're living in Shopia. Shopia, Gozo.
What's the reason why it's your favourite place?
So Malta is incredible. Thousands of years of history on top of history on top of history. Literally from the Neolithic to the Baroque to the everything. It's just fascinating. Plus, it's got one of the best, consistently called one of the best climates in the whole world. 300 days of sunshine. It's in February. It's usually 14 degrees, up to 18 degrees. Zero crime. Beautiful. Nothing like turning around a corner and then all of a sudden having the Mediterranean spread out in that gorgeous blue in front of you. You not be depressed here.
Great. What a great answer. And what's your favourite international food?
So I used to be Greek, and then I fell in love about 10 years ago with Middle Eastern foods. I really love falafel and shawarma, beef shawarma, but I'm trying to cut down the red meats, so falafel.
Falafel is it's one of the best inventions. It's also vegetarian, which is why it's all really good as well.
It works for everything. Yeah.
What's your favourite international tradition?
I think the brand new one that I've just been exposed to is I had never been to any carnival in my life. Here in Malta, they have carnival, just the way they have in Rio, the big carnival, and they have, so I just was exposed to my first real life one. I just saw it for the first time. It was pretty crazy in Gozo because they have the big traditional, beautiful one. And then they also have this thing, which you guys should all Google later. It's insane. Called the Spontaneous Carnival in Nadur, which is apparently, I thought it was like some new thing. But no, it actually goes back hundreds of years. It's kind of weird. It's like a dark under like inverted version of the regular big beautiful carnival where people would come out and do like weird political things. Anyway, it's weird. So the whole thing, the big beautiful carnival, and that weird spontaneous thing that they had, I don't know. I was just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I'm just checking it all out. It's really weird, but really cool. So carnival, I think that's like the hundreds of years history. And I guess it's in Catholic countries. It's like a pre-Lent thing, but it doesn't feel like any religious celebration. It's just like crazy what's going on, like I said.
Yeah, we used to have Pancake Day as a pre-Lent thing in the UK, not a carnival. So I'll have to...
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah, okay, I've heard of that. I think they have that in Canada too, but
it's our pre-Lent ritual. So
yeah, it doesn't sound as fun, though.
No, it's not. But pancakes are pretty awesome. What's your favourite thing about living abroad?
Learning, I guess, just the constant brain, learning different things all the time. Like I haven't gone to the language yet, but just learning, being exposed to things that are different from where you were before, seeing how things are different, and then the little switch that we were talking about this off camera earlier, the little switch in your brain, when you realize that you might have the realization that you thought a certain way or you viewed things a certain way because of where you grew up in the world, and that you just got to see things through a different window. So I think that's important, and if everybody could do it, I think that would be even a way better world if we all were meant to kind of forced to go travel and be in other places, and that would be a great thing.
It's like conscription, but living abroad, yeah.
Yeah, or traveling at least,
What's your best homesickness remedy?
Zoom. I think we're blessed these days. I think it'll be a lot different. Like even just talking to my daughter and the grandbaby and everything on the Zoom, I was literally laughing the other day. She's in my bedroom. Going, "Oh, your bed's really comfortable." And I'm like, "Hey, turn around. Show me my closet for a minute. Look at that. Look at all my stuff. Oh, that's weird. I don't miss it." But I was just like, "That's so weird. Look at that. My house and my room and all my stuff. It's still there in another part of the world." Like, look at that. So I guess we have Zoom. We can still. I went on a walk with my daughter and she walked the dog yesterday. And we were joking that the dog went to the bathroom and I got to see it on Zoom. And I was like, well, at least I'm not missing the important moments.
Yeah, exactly. The highlight reel.
The highlight reel. The dog's went to the bathroom on my porch and there's some snow, I'm done. I've seen Canada. I've seen enough. I'm going to go back to the Mediterranean now.
And what's the hardest thing about living abroad?
Probably the same thing. It's just learning different, learning that things aren't the way you, like learning how things go, things that are different from where you came from, you know, that, but I don't think it's hard. I think that's fun, but yeah, that, some people might find that hard. Like if things aren't always the way you expect them to be.
I guess, is it the volume of change? Because I guess you can get used to having one or two things change over time, but the fact that it's a wholesale, everything's changed. Is that kind of what you mean, or?
Yeah, and I think more like, the little thing, like, when you get into the real life things and you're not just looking at the palm trees in the Mediterranean, but you're like, you need to go in. And again, I found things to be pretty easy to navigate in Malta, but I mean, it could be, these kind of things could be a problem somewhere, like, medication, like, okay, this was a small complication. I just ran out of like thyroid medications. I went and I thought it would be just a matter of like telling them, this is what I take. Can you give me a new prescription, please? And the doctor was like, well, I live here now, so they're not just going to take the word of some most random doctor in Canada. Just like the Canadian doctor, to be fair, when I went, they didn't trust whatever Malta said. They wanted, if they want to check it all out, so I do all the old blood tests and everything with that. And then the drug that I had in Canada, they didn't have the same dosage sheet. It's not available in the low dosage. So now I've had to go up like a 10 milligram of the dosage because of that low dosage. So little things like that, things are not always uniform. You have to, but they're not a big deal. There's going to be, like I said, most things in I mean, like I'm in the Western world about as far as I can be out of the Western world, still be in the Western world, but there's still a lot of radical differences, but you can always manage them. There's always, we have the tool in our pocket now. We have that Google and we have the internet and the Uber and, you just type in pharmacy and it'll usually find one for you, so.
And what's the best phrase you've learned since moving to Malta in terms of like a local cook?
Mela. Okay, Mela. I was saying to somebody, I'm trying to learn Maltese, and the Maltese driver said, well, have you learned any words yet? I said, well, Mela. He said, that's cheating. And it is, because they use that word for everything. It means like, okay, but it also means like what, or it means like, like you'll see it in all kinds of different contexts. And they even have, found me, you'll see it on a t-shirt, and then it's like an in-joke, Mela, but nobody knows what it is. Mela. But I'm also learning how to pronounce things. Like I had trouble pronouncing. I was like, Ganchano, it's Ansalam. And Zagra, it's not exact, it's Shama. And X is Sh. And GH is silent. And so I'm starting to not sound like an idiot, slowly.
Well, you're certainly having lots of fun doing it, which is the main thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What's your best way of making new friends?
I find, like Gozo is super small and everybody, like in a tiny little island, and almost everybody's related. They all know each other. And I knew coming into Gozo as opposed to a big city in Malta, where there's more, that it was going to be, everybody, everybody's going to be looking, especially we got the bright red hair with the long hair. We look weird coming in any new community, but especially in little traditional Gozo. So I just said, smile and wave, because, people are going to be looking at you and they're going to be wondering about you, and they're going to be, wondering, they're going to be taking stock, right? Figuring out who you are. And I'm just like, hi. And most of the time, if you're like, oh, Sophie, I'll just smile. Like, I literally smile and wave, like, hi, good morning. And then by the third to second time you do that, they usually like, it's been worked before, right? So, and again, we have a tool. The internet is pretty awesome, no matter where you are. Type in expats, type in, whenever. I'm on a whole bunch of groups now, so I watch, I monitor them. Even before I left, I was reading. It's another thing you do too. Before you leave, read the news. Join, not just reading the news, but like look at the news and read the comments. And you see what people are complaining about. And you see what people are, sitting to the worst of everything. You got to realize that people are always complaining about stuff. But still, you start to understand who the players are, what we're talking about, and what the issues are, and all that. So I wasn't surprised by any of the negative things that people say about Malta. I already knew about from reading all the comment sections from people who already live here. Like this, too much building and all the.
That's a great bit of advice. And what's the best thing to do in your new home?
Yeah, I think go out there and explore. I think the best thing to do also get a library card and go to the shelf where it has all the books from, and again, we know we can Google, but I went to the library anyway, and I found stuff at the library that I wouldn't have found on Google because there's like a whole, there's 100 years worth of books or whatever, 50, like a whole bunch of books there, cultural stuff that you won't just find. Not everything is on Google. Not all information in the world is there, especially in a smaller place, a place like this. I could Google Gozo all day long. It's going to be really limited what I'm going to find. But here on the library shelf, I found a lot of local books with a lot of really amazing history. And the history also gives you a really, again, an understanding of today. You can't understand where you are now without understanding what led to how come it's this way, who made it this way, who these people are, and where it's all been, otherwise you can't. So you should always know that. It's always good to learn more about where you are.
Completely, that's a very good bit of advice. And then my last question is, what's your best expat life hack?
Being one, man. Doing it, like leaving. Like I know some people just say, "Oh, I'd love to do that. I have to do." Just do it. Like with everything, just take the first step. It's not really. It's really easy to do. Actually, it's hard, but it's easy because most places will let you just go somewhere as a tourist and start to familiarize yourself and figure it out, and go back like we did, and go back again. And if you want, honestly, like just do it. Or I don't, I won't quote Nike. Instead, I'll quote the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I always quote when I'm being interviewed on business podcasts, which I always say, I don't like fake it till you make it. I'm a publicist, so I say, it's not about fake it till you make it. It's about Rocky Horror Picture Show. Don't dream it, be it. If you want to do it, do it. Just go out and do it.
I thought you were going to quote Shia Booth at first, just like start screaming, just do it. But
don't dream it, be it.
Well, what a great ending to the podcast. Don't dream it, be it. I think I'll have to put a mantra out there for that. And thank you so much, Tracy, for your time. And if you did enjoy the podcast, please listen to the full length one if you haven't already. It's out now. And hopefully we'll see you next time for the Expat Pod.